Hey guys, this is Edna from Square Photography, and today I'm going to teach you a little bit about floor posing. I've noticed some photographers that I mentor and some people that I know, because I teach a lot of photographers how to shoot, that they're making some mistakes that I can, not that they're mistakes, but things that you can do a little bit differently to help you with posing your client. And sometimes I think that floor posing is a little bit difficult, and I want you to kind of think about posing in regards to what you're trying to achieve. It's not that you need to follow an A, B, C, D, E of posing, but what is it that you want to convey when you're posing somebody? Do you want them to look sad and kind of tucked in? Do you want them to look strong and powerful? Do you want them to look feminine and soft and pretty? What is it that you're trying to convey? Now, after 30 plus years of photography and listening to my clients over the years tell me I look fat in that pose, or I look fat there, or I look squatty, or I look short, I've realized that women in general, my clients, they want to look long, slim, curvy, feminine, and beautiful. And this is so important to give the client what it is that they want and what they're looking for. Even if they're not particularly long and skinny and curvy, it is our jobs as professionals to make our client look the best that they can. And sometimes tweak a little in Photoshop also. So I'm just going to squat right here down on the floor in my living room and kind of get started and teach you a few different things that you can do. So something that I see people often do is just sit a client down and take a photograph. Now, this isn't the most flattering pose when you're trying to make somebody look longer, curvier, feminine, and prettier, because this is just a blob, just a blob. And especially if somebody's pregnant, then they just really look like a circle. And that is not a way to make somebody look elongated. So the first thing you want to do is bring the legs out. Now you can either bring this leg forward and bring the other one back, or I like to bring the person onto their hip and bring this knee, the top knee, forward. This is already going to give you a lot more hip right here, a lot more curve. It's going to look like they have a smaller waist, and it's going to give a lot of shape to the body. And I have my client point their toes and bring that knee forward. And I personally like to bring the elbow back so that they really have a lot of shape here. But if not, if you don't want to bring the client's elbow back, what you want to do is be aware of triangles. So there's a triangle here, which means I can see your waist here. I don't have the hand over forward. And there, you can do a hand on the hip and have a triangle here, or a hand when you do a hand up on the temple or pulling the hair up, that's a triangle here, so that you can see the body is slimmer. If you just put a hand down, you're really adding bulk to your client, because now here is just bulk instead of like this where you have emptiness. And you can always liquefy a little bit more waist in Photoshop when you're photoshopping your client's images. Another little tip when you're bringing the hand up to the temple, what you want to do when you are shooting and you're posing, especially with hand poses, is make them look natural. You're not just putting a hand up on the top of the head, but you're tilting the head, and you're either going to act as if the client is pulling their hair back, or like they're, oh, I'm about to faint, like, oh, you know, it's really about the entire emotion of the head, the face tilt. That makes a big difference than just this. It doesn't look natural. You want to pose as if the person is doing something they would naturally do, like, oh wow, what's my temperature? Oh, like, let me pull my hair up. That's kind of what you're trying to do, not just place a hand or place a hand or place a hand. So that is my first pose when we're talking about elongating a client, is get those toes out, bring that knee in, and remember your triangles so that you have space. So you can put your clients, like if it's a maternity session, you can bring your hand on your client's belly and still have, not do this, but do this, or a hand on the hip, or hand up, 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 or behind the hip so that you can really see this part of the body. Not every pose is going to work on every client. For instance, there are beautiful poses like this that are not going to work if somebody has much bulkier legs. They're not going to feel pretty and skinny if you're bulking their legs up. Now, for a really pretty, thin, tall ballerina, if you do a pose like this, then that's going to work fantastically. But for somebody that's more plus size, you may not want to do a pose like this. So this is a pose that I would use for somebody that is thinner. Again, notice how I always have triangles, right? So hand on the knee, hand on the hip, so that you can see that I have a waist. And this is a beautiful pose. Or even if you're just extending the leg out a little bit, bringing that foot behind, not squishing the body together, but bringing a leg out, bringing the arms out from the side of the body so that you have, again, triangles. You have to think about what you want to convey. Now, if you want to convey sadness, then you want somebody that's curled up and, you know, squished in, and you can do a lot of different poses that are like inward, right? And not outward. So another thing that you can do if you want to elongate legs is bring the legs out towards the camera. If you use a wide angle lens and you shoot just a little bit higher and you bring the legs out to the camera, then you want one in front of the other and you want to convey length. And again, triangles. But this is not something I normally do because it's still a shortening to me. I always like to bring the legs out. Another more powerful pose, a lot of times what you see is women doing more masculine posing, because I consider this to be kind of a 1980s more masculine pose. And again, this is not a pose you're going to do with somebody who's more plus size. I can get away with it a little bit right now because I've lost a ton of weight, but this pose where you have a client kind of leaning in, because if you do this with somebody who's a little bit heavier, then there is no triangle here. Their body's going to be right up against their leg because they have more bulk, or somebody who's bustier, maybe not the best pose to do. But if somebody who's lankier, thinner, then you can do a pose like this. And this is a great pose for a woman who's a little bit more CEO, powerful pose, something like this. And again, it's not just, you know, think about the hands. Where are you going to put them? Like tilt the head, turn the head, try different ways of tweaking this pose a little bit. So that's another one that I think is a great pose with somebody who's not plus size. Hey guys, thank you for watching this. I truly appreciate every single viewer, everyone who's got eyes. Always like and subscribe, always comment. It helps the algorithm and makes my videos have a farther reach. I really appreciate you guys just being here and spending this time. I hope it helps for all you pro photographers that are struggling with posing. Remember, be patient. It just takes time. Don't give up. It just takes time. It takes thousands of hours to hone in a skill and be a master at it. I've been doing this for over 30 years, and at some point it just clicks. So don't forget to choose happiness. Thank you once again. Remember guys, comment. It makes a big difference. Like and subscribe and share this, and you guys have a wonderful day.